Your soulmate's family gathered to talk about you. What came out is unbelievable. My beloved child, don't skip, because what you are about to hear is not an ordinary message. Something huge is waiting for you, and every second brings you closer to a truth that almost no one expected to be revealed. Somewhere, behind closed doors, your soulmate's family gathered for a conversation that was supposed to last only a few minutes. But those few minutes slowly turned into hours. One person spoke your name with hesitation. Another defended you with unexpected confidence. Then someone who had remained silent for the longest time finally stood up and revealed something that completely changed the atmosphere inside that room. Faces that were calm only moments earlier suddenly became filled with disbelief. Questions replaced certainty. Doubts turned into curiosity. It was as if every opinion they had built about you was beginning to collapse right in front of them. Stay till the end, because the most unbelievable part of this gathering has not even happened yet. Someone inside that family has been quietly watching everything from the beginning, noticing details nobody else cared to see. That person has connected pieces of a story that everyone else ignored. They noticed your patience when nobody appreciated it. They noticed your silence when others misunderstood it. They even remembered words you once spoke that now make perfect sense. At first, nobody wanted to believe those observations. But then another family member admitted they had secretly reached the exact same conclusion. The room became silent. Nobody interrupted. Nobody laughed. Because for the first time, they realized the picture they had created about you was incomplete. Something hidden was beginning to surface, and the deeper they looked, the more impossible it became to deny. Don't skip now, because this conversation is moving toward a moment that could change everything. Without warning, another voice entered the discussion and asked one unexpected question that nobody in the room was prepared to answer. What if we have judged this person far too quickly? Those words echoed through the house like they had been waiting for the perfect moment to appear. Eyes met across the room, but nobody responded immediately. The silence itself became the answer. One by one, memories started coming back. Small moments that once seemed meaningless suddenly carried enormous weight. Someone remembered hearing your name during a joyful conversation. Someone else recalled how your soulmate's face completely changed whenever you were mentioned. Another admitted they had never seen that kind of genuine emotion before. Every new memory added another missing piece until the entire family began seeing a completely different version of you. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and this is only the beginning of it. Just when everyone believed they had uncovered the truth, an older family member quietly walked toward a drawer, removed a small envelope that had been hidden for a long time, and placed it in the center of the table. Nobody knew why it had been saved. Nobody even knew it existed. The moment the envelope appeared, every conversation stopped. No one reached for it immediately because somehow everyone sensed that whatever was inside could completely rewrite everything they believed about you. Hearts were racing. Curiosity became impossible to ignore. Yet the envelope remained unopened as every person waited for someone else to make the first move. Then the atmosphere shifted once again. A family member who had doubted you more than anyone else slowly reached toward the envelope with trembling hands. Everyone watched without saying a single word. The paper inside looked ordinary at first, but the expressions on their faces changed before anyone else could even see what was written. Shock replaced confidence. Surprise replaced judgment. Within seconds, whispers filled the room. Some could hardly believe what they had just discovered. Others immediately realized they had misunderstood you from the very beginning. But before anyone could explain the unbelievable truth to the rest of the family, another unexpected interruption stopped everything. A phone began ringing across the room. The caller was someone nobody expected to hear from at that exact moment. The person answering the call froze after hearing only a few words. Their face turned completely pale before they slowly looked around at everyone else and whispered, "You all need to hear this." At that exact moment, every secret discussed inside that room suddenly became much bigger than anyone imagined. Don't skip, because what was said during that phone call is about to reveal the one truth your soulmate's family never thought they would hear, and once it is spoken aloud, nothing between you and them will ever feel the same again. Something huge is waiting for you. Stay till the end. The voice on the other end of the phone was calm, yet every single word carried a weight that nobody inside the room could ignore. The family member listening didn't interrupt even once. They simply stood there, their expression changing from confusion to complete disbelief. When the call finally ended, nobody dared to ask what had been said. They already knew it had to be something extraordinary. After a long silence, the listener slowly looked around the room and whispered, "Everything we've been discussing, we were missing the biggest piece." Those words sent a wave of emotion through everyone present. The envelope that had seemed so important only moments ago was no longer the center of attention. Now every eye was fixed on the person who had received the call. They explained that someone outside the family had quietly observed your actions over a long period of time and had reached a conclusion that completely matched what the oldest family member had suspected all along. It wasn't based on rumors. It wasn't based on opinions. It was based on moments that nobody could fake, moments of patience when frustration would have been easier, moments of kindness when nobody was watching, and moments of loyalty when there was nothing to gain. Suddenly the conversation became deeply personal. One relative admitted they had judged you because of appearances. Another confessed they had believed stories without ever looking for the truth. One by one, walls began falling inside that room. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. Stay till the end, because the next revelation made even the strongest person in that family struggle to speak. Someone quietly admitted that your soulmate had been protecting your name during conversations you never even knew existed. Every time doubt appeared, your soulmate defended you without hesitation. Every time someone questioned your intentions, your soulmate refused to let those doubts grow. Hearing that changed everything. For the first time, the family realized this connection was far stronger than they had ever imagined. Just when it seemed the truth had finally settled into everyone's hearts, another unexpected memory surfaced. One family member suddenly remembered a conversation from months ago that nobody had considered important until now. At the time, your soulmate had spoken with unusual certainty, saying there was something about you that could not be explained with ordinary words. Back then, everyone smiled politely and moved on. But now, after everything that had been revealed, those forgotten words sounded completely different. The room became silent once again as every detail began fitting together like pieces of a puzzle that had been scattered for far too long. The older relatives exchanged knowing glances, while the younger ones asked questions that no one could answer with certainty. Then someone quietly admitted that every prediction they had made about this relationship had turned out to be wrong. Instead of growing weaker, the connection kept becoming stronger in unexpected ways. Instead of fading with time, thoughts about you only became more frequent. That confession shifted the entire atmosphere. It was no longer a discussion about possibilities, it had become a search for the undeniable truth. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The family began wondering if this gathering itself had happened for a reason. Why had everyone become available on the same day? Why had forgotten memories returned at exactly the same moment? Why had the mysterious phone call arrived just as the envelope was opened? The timing felt too perfect to ignore. Even those who usually dismissed unusual coincidences could no longer explain what was unfolding before their eyes. Deep inside, every person present sensed they were standing at the edge of a discovery that would permanently change the way they looked at you. Then the final moments of the gathering took another breathtaking turn. A family member who had spoken the least throughout the entire meeting finally stood up and walked toward a window, staring outside for several quiet seconds before turning back with tears shining in their eyes. They admitted there was one secret they had carried alone for a long time because they feared nobody would believe them. They revealed that long before this family meeting was ever planned, they had noticed something extraordinary whenever your name entered the conversation. No matter how difficult the day had been, your soulmate's entire expression would soften instantly. The stress disappeared. The hesitation faded. Hope quietly returned. At first they believed it was only coincidence, but after witnessing it happen again and again, they realized it was impossible to ignore. As those words filled the room, nobody argued. Nobody questioned them. Instead, every face reflected the same realization: they had all seen different pieces of the same truth without recognizing it. And just as everyone believed the gathering had finally reached its conclusion, a gentle knock echoed at the front door. Every conversation stopped immediately. Nobody had invited anyone else. Nobody was expecting another guest. Yet whoever stood on the other side seemed connected to everything that had just been revealed. One family member slowly reached for the doorknob while everyone else held their breath, knowing that whatever happened next could answer every remaining question, or reveal an even greater secret that none of them were prepared to hear. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The door opened slowly, and for a brief moment, nobody moved. The visitor didn't rush inside or speak immediately. Instead, they looked around the room as if they already knew exactly what had been discussed. That single glance made everyone uneasy. The silence became almost impossible to bear until the visitor finally smiled and said, "I think I've arrived at exactly the right moment." Every person exchanged confused looks. How could someone outside this gathering know that the entire conversation had been centered around you? The visitor calmly stepped forward and placed a small folder on the table beside the mysterious envelope. Before anyone reaches a final conclusion, they said, "There is something every one of you deserves to know. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. Stay till the end, because what came next completely transformed the direction of the gathering. The folder contained small reminders of moments everyone had forgotten. Simple conversations, kind gestures, unexpected sacrifices, and quiet decisions that had never been noticed. None of them looked extraordinary on their own, but together they revealed a pattern that nobody could deny. Every page carried the same message without using the same words: you had been bringing peace into your soulmate's life long before anyone realized it. One relative covered their face in disbelief. Another whispered, "How did we never see this?" Even the people who had questioned your place in the family found themselves speechless. They weren't looking at assumptions anymore. They were looking at undeniable moments that had quietly built a story stronger than anyone had imagined. The room felt completely different now. The tension had been replaced with reflection, but deep inside, everyone sensed that the biggest revelation still hadn't arrived. As the family carefully looked through every page, another truth quietly surfaced. Someone noticed that every major turning point in your soulmate's life seemed to have one thing in common: you were somehow connected to it, even when you weren't physically present. Whenever your soulmate had nearly given up, there had been a message, a memory, or a simple thought about you that helped them move forward. Whenever they faced an impossible decision, your name somehow found its way into the conversation. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It was consistent. That realization sent another wave of emotion through the room. An older family member slowly admitted that they had spent years believing real connections always announced themselves with grand moments. But now they understood that the strongest bonds often grow quietly, proving themselves through countless ordinary days instead of one extraordinary event. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Then your soulmate's closest relative revealed something they had kept hidden for months. They confessed that your soulmate had once been given every reason to walk away, yet instead of letting go, they chose to wait. They chose patience over pride. They chose hope over fear. No one in the family had understood that decision at the time. Now it suddenly made perfect sense. Every doubt that had once surrounded your name was disappearing, replaced by a growing respect that nobody expected to feel. Yet even with all these discoveries, one question still remained unanswered. Why did this gathering happen today, of all days? The answer was sitting quietly in the room, waiting for someone brave enough to notice it. Then the youngest person in the family unexpectedly pointed toward the forgotten envelope that still rested on the table. "We never finished reading everything inside," they quietly said. The room instantly fell silent again. Everyone had become so focused on the visitor and the folder that they had almost forgotten the envelope which had started this entire journey. With careful hands, it was opened once more, revealing one final folded page hidden beneath the first. No one had seen it before. As the page unfolded, every face slowly changed. Some smiled through tears. Others stared in complete disbelief. The final message wasn't about proving who was right or wrong. It spoke about timing, patience, and the remarkable way genuine connections survive every misunderstanding. It ended with a sentence that left the entire family unable to speak: "The person you keep questioning may already be the answer you've been searching for." Nobody argued after hearing those words. Nobody tried to change the subject. Instead, Every person quietly accepted that this gathering had revealed far more than they ever expected. But just as they believed the meeting was finally over, your soulmate looked toward the family with an expression nobody had ever seen before and softly said, "There's one thing I still haven't told any of you." The room froze once again. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because the words your soulmate is about to reveal will become the most unforgettable moment of this entire story. A deep silence settled over the room as your soulmate slowly took a breath and looked into the eyes of every family member. No one interrupted because everyone could feel that these next words had been waiting inside their heart for a very long time. "I never told you everything," your soulmate began softly. "Not because I was afraid of the truth, but because I was afraid you wouldn't understand it." Those words instantly changed the atmosphere. Every person leaned forward, listening more carefully than ever before. Your soulmate admitted that there had been countless moments when walking away would have been easier, when forgetting your name would have seemed like the simpler path, yet somehow every attempt to move on only brought your memory back even stronger. It wasn't something that could be explained with logic. It happened in ordinary moments, a familiar place, a random song, a quiet evening, or a simple conversation would suddenly remind them of you. The family listened without speaking because, for the first time, they were hearing emotions that had never been shared before. One relative quietly wiped away tears. Another lowered their head in regret, realizing they had misunderstood the situation from the very beginning. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. Stay till the end, because the biggest truth of this gathering is only beginning to unfold. Then your soulmate revealed that every important decision they had made recently had been influenced by one silent question they kept asking themselves: what if this person is truly meant to be part of my future? That single confession left the room completely speechless. The conversation became even more emotional when the oldest member of the family slowly stood up and admitted something no one expected to hear. They confessed that they had secretly been observing your soulmate for months, noticing a change that couldn't be ignored. Whenever your name came up naturally, your soulmate smiled without realizing it. Whenever someone criticized you, they became unusually protective. Whenever hope seemed lost, they still refused to close the door completely. Those small moments had spoken louder than any explanation ever could. Suddenly another relative remembered a promise your soulmate had made long ago, a promise that they would never build a future based on fear or misunderstanding. Hearing those words now made everything fit together. The doubts that once divided the room had almost disappeared. Respect had replaced suspicion. Curiosity had replaced judgment. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Just when everyone thought there was nothing left to reveal, your soulmate quietly reached into a pocket and placed a folded note on the table. "I've carried this with me for a long time," they whispered. "I wrote it on a day when I thought nobody would ever understand what I was feeling." Nobody touched the note immediately. Somehow everyone knew those written words could answer questions that had remained hidden until now. With careful hands, the note was finally unfolded. The room became so quiet that even the sound of the paper seemed louder than before. As each line was read aloud, emotion spread across every face. The note didn't speak about perfect moments or easy journeys. Instead, it described patience, quiet hope, and the belief that some people enter your life for reasons that only become clear with time. When the final sentence was read, nobody could hold back their emotions anymore. It simply said, "If the day ever comes when my family truly sees what I see, I will know everything happened at the right time." Those words changed the entire gathering forever. Every misunderstanding suddenly felt smaller than the truth standing in front of them. But before anyone could respond, another unexpected sound echoed through the house. This time it wasn't a phone, it wasn't a knock at the door, it was a notification from your soulmate's device. They looked at the screen, and their expression changed instantly. They slowly whispered, This wasn't supposed to happen today." Every family member immediately gathered closer, knowing that whatever had just appeared could become